was a little bit nervous when I saw that the Endorphin Speed 4 had quite a big redesign. I had questions. Did they change everything about this shoe that I love so much to make it more specific to that speed lineup? Because honestly, the Saucony Endorphin Speed for me has taken away my need for other types of running shoes. And Saucony, if you think of it from a business standpoint, they wouldn't want a shoe that can just do it all. They want you to have to go out and buy those easy day shoes like the Triumph line. They wanted you to buy the Ride line for like the daily training stuff, the Speed line for your speed day stuff, and the Endorphin Pro and other race day shoes for your race day options. But in my opinion, the Speed could do all of that, so why would you need that? So when I got the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, that was the main thing on my mind. I was a little bit concerned that did they kind of tailor this to be one trick pony? Let's talk about that because I definitely have some thoughts. Now, as you can see here, geometrically between the Speed 3 and the Speed 4, there is a massive change. It kind of looks like this shoe has come straight out of Cyberpunk. The curves on it, super juicy. It's nice and sharp, geometric. You know, it looks like an absolute piece of art. I personally love the colorway. It looks pretty darn funky. And when compared to the Speed 3, and I love the Speed 3 look as well. Like, just look at it. It's an amazing bright pink color. I love pink. I love the look of that shoe. But when they're compared side by side, you can tell there's quite a big difference. Now, I'm not getting into the little minuscule details about what was changed because does that really matter? What matters is how does it feel when compared to the Speed 3? And the changes in the Speed 4 for me personally are that they made the midsole feel a little bit less soft. So I'm not getting that much squish. And this is something that, like I mentioned, I was a little bit concerned that they do and tailor it more towards that speed day stuff. That firmer midsole feels a bit more speed oriented, but it's not so firm that I couldn't use it for those other uses as well. Another thing is I found that the upper to be a bit more airy, a bit better lockdown for me in comparison to the Speed 3. So those are the big two that I would mention. The upper fits a bit different for me, and the midsole feels a bit more firm when compared to the Speed 3. It actually feels more like the Speed 1 and 2 did. So if you were a big fan of those and then you didn't really like the 3, I think when you come back to this shoe, you will personally really enjoy it. One thing that they didn't change is the weight really. The weight on this shoe feels pretty darn similar to me. I didn't put it on my scale just yet, but here are the weight specs when compared to the Speed 3 versus the Speed 4 as posted by Saucony. I can't imagine there's going to be a big difference, and if there is a big difference, then here's a little insert of me saying I'm silly, but I don't think I'll have to put it in there. That doesn't matter. The changes don't matter. What matters for me is, can this shoe still be used for everything that I used to love using it for? The daily training, the up-tempo stuff, the race day stuff if I wanted to. Can the Speed 4 still perform? And the answer to that question is absolutely yes. This midsole, while a little bit firmer than the Speed 3, still is fantastic. If you haven't run in the Speed line before, what this midsole feels like for me is just a great transition. And for me, when I'm doing my daily training miles, I'm more landing on that midfoot to heel section, so a little bit more of a heel striker as some might call. But as I pick up the pace, I start to land more midfoot. And honestly, folks, if you don't want to run in carbon-plated shoes because you think you're too slow or whatever, it doesn't matter the speed that you're running at, it matters where you're striking on the shoe. And sure, there's some amount of forces that come into play on how you flex the plate, but the reality is these types of shoes with plates, if you land on the midfoot section or whatever, you get a nice smooth roll through. How would it change your gait as you ran at slower paces? And for me, the Speed 4's plate is flexible enough that it allows me to go through those slower paces and not feel super jarring. It feels absolutely fantastic at those slow paces, but the magic definitely does come into play when you start to pick up the pace. The way that the midsole interacts with a little bit of extra pop and where I land on the shoe when I'm going through my faster paces just feels like I'm ticking along, and it feels like I could go forever. It's an amazing sensation underfoot. Absolutely fantastic. The upper, I've been running here in the winter time here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and yeah, it's a little bit cool because this thing is airy. As you can see there, you can see straight through the midsole inside of it, but the lockdown on this thing is absolutely fantastic. There's a mild amount of padding around that ankle collar that doesn't really absorb any sweat because it is so mild, but it's just the perfect amount. It's not super built up, and for me, I absolutely love it. So yes, I can still use this shoe for everything that I used for previously. That has not changed. Saucony is still Maybe they don't want you to use it for everything, but I'm gonna use it for everything, and I would recommend you folks, if you can only buy one running shoe for your race day, your easy day, your daily training, whatever, this would be the shoe that I would lean towards because it is so versatile. Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you folks tried the Speed 4? If you've tried the other Speed versions, how does the Speed 4 compare to those other versions? Did you like it less, like it more? I just need to know your opinion so bad. So please let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button right down below. Hit that like button. The running shoe reviews aren't going to be as frequent as in the past, but they're still going to be coming. So if you're here just for the running shoe reviews, welcome back. And if you're here for everything else, thank you for tuning into this video, and I will see you on the next one.